welcome to Book Chat. My name is Leslie and I'm the Reading Safari and Stream Coordinator for Monterey County Free Libraries. Today for our book chat, I have something really fun and exciting for us. It is a mystery novel by Shirley Jackson called We Have Always Lived in the Castle. Today, instead of a regular hard copy of a book, I actually am going to be using my iPad, so forgive me for being a little clumsy with that. This book, We Have Always Lived in the Castle, written by Shirley Jackson, published in 1962. It's very quick, very easy, very mysterious, and it's a classic. It is told in the voice of Maricat Blackwood, that is short for Mary Catherine. She's an 18-year-old girl. She lives with her sister Constance and her uncle Julian in their big family estate. She comes across a whole lot younger than 18. There's so many times in the novel I'm like, you sure you're 18? You know? And I think some of that reasoning, some of that comes from learning about things that she does and things she believes, which I can't really get into right now, but she does come across as younger than 18. She's also a really good example of an unreliable narrator. That means if a narrator is unreliable, you can't trust them. You can't trust them on a lot of things. But, and so that makes the story much more interesting because you're like, can I really believe what this narrator is saying? So to give you an illustration of what Mary Catherine's voice sounds like, I'm going to read the introductory paragraph of this novel. My name is Mary Catherine Blackwood. I am 18 years old and I live with my sister Constance. I have often thought that with any luck at all, I could have been born a werewolf because the two middle fingers on both my hands are the same length. But I have had to be content with what I had. I dislike washing myself and dogs and noise. I like my sister Constance and Richard Plantagenet and Amanita phalloides, the death cup mushroom. Everyone else in my family is dead. So that's the introductory paragraph to this novel, which is, automatically draws you in. So she, like I said, Maricat is living in the family estate with her sister Constance and their uncle Julian. She's the only person who ever leaves the house. Uncle Julian can't because he's in a wheelchair, and Constance has not left their home in 6 years. And that's kind of interesting. And it'll say why in a little bit. So Maricat is the one who goes into the village to run all the errands, and it becomes clear pretty quickly that the villagers are afraid of her or find her disturbing or something like that. And Maricat says, the people of the village have always hated us. So that's the big central mystery of the novel. Why do the villagers hate the Blackwood family? So we learn about 6 years before that 4 members of the Blackwood family died all on the same night, and including the parents of Mary Catherine and Constance are included in that list. They died as well. It turns out that the family had been poisoned. So someone had put arsenic in their sugar bowl, and then the family members put sugar on their berries. So, and then 4 members died. Uncle Julian had been poisoned, but he lived. Constance didn't put any sugar on her berries. And Maricat had been sent to her room without supper, so she didn't have any berries either. So, because Constance chose not to put sugar on her berries, the townspeople assumed that she was the one who had killed the rest of the Blackwoods. And that's why Constance hasn't left the house in 6 years. So, there's a lot more to the story. A distant Blackwood cousin shows up and he tries to insert himself into their lives. And this makes Maricat very resentful. Now, Maricat is a practicer of sympathetic magic. And so That means that she kind of is into voodoo and puppets and things like that. And she makes several attempts to drive Charles away because she does not want him there. And one of these attempts ends in tragedy because Merricat ends up setting the whole house on fire. And the house is just burning, burning, burning. And all the townspeople show up to, at first, maybe try to help. But then they just end up taunting the Blackwoods and throwing things at them and being cruel because they hate them. Okay? So, in the fire, and I'm going kind of way to the end, you know, I'm doing all the spoilers here. In the end, Uncle Julian dies because of probably a heart attack related to the fire. Charles is indeed driven away, which is just what Merricat wanted. And it is just her, Merricat, and Constance living in their home, which has all this fire damage. It's just them there, living there by themselves. And that is how the story ends, with, you know, in this kind of sad, creepy, eerie way of these two sisters living in like the charred remains of their home. So that is We Have Always Lived in the Castle, a classic by Shirley Jackson. I've read this one a few times. I really do love it. It's really well written. I love the character of Merricat, even though she is extremely disturbing. But those are the best kinds of characters when you can make them come to life and you can make them very believable. So anyway, highly recommend. I think this is not overtly a Halloween book, but I think that it's creepy enough to count. So anyway, take care, everybody. Thanks for joining me on Book Chat, and I will see you next time.